Am I the asshole for telling my in laws I have to quit babysitting for them? Sorry in advance for the long post. There's a lot to unpack here. I, 24 female, babysit for my in laws who have a 3 year old daughter. I also have my own son who's just under 2, so I need to bring him with me on days that I'm babysitting. I started working for them in September of last year, and it was going well when my son was small. He slept a lot, and I was able to manage both of them. My father in law is a firefighter, and my mother in law is a school teacher. I'm only needed on days my father in law works, but he's on a revolving schedule, so the schedule changes from week to week. I babysit anywhere from 2 to 4 days a week from 7 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. My sister-in-law also started part-time preschool Monday through Wednesday from 8:45 to 11:25. Hold on, I just had to do the math there. The sister-in-law is the 3 year old. Oh my gosh. Okay. So my 3 year old sister-in-law also started part-time preschool Monday through Wednesday from 8:45 to 11:25 a.m. I quickly realized this year that I'm not able to manage my sister's preschool schedule, my son's change in needs and schedule, and my own house responsibilities. Not only is the stress and time this job requires taking away from my ability to keep up with my own house and family, but my son is having to mold his schedule to fit with this schedule. I'm oftentimes shaking his leg in the car ride home from picking up my sister from school to keep him awake because their naps have to line up or neither one of them will get a nap, and that's awful for everyone involved. My husband is an EMT who works 3 days a week, 12 to 2 a.m. We oftentimes have to leave before my son gets to see his dad in the morning, so they don't see each other sometimes for a couple days. My husband and I were discussing how difficult on us and our son it is to watch my sister and how I don't think I can do it anymore. We realized it would take my husband picking up only 2 overtime shifts a month to make more money than I do working full time for my in laws in a month babysitting my sister in law. Also, to know about my in laws, they are much more well off than we are. All three of their daughters are in private school. They go on multiple vacations a year and have brand new cars, etc. I came to mother in law on Monday and told her I needed to talk to her about quitting, and we had a long conversation about why and different options. I told her it was greatly affecting my mental health, my marriage, and my family in general. She asked that I think about some concerns, which included, what do we do if something big happens financially and we need help? How am I going to get the mental health help that I need for anxiety? How will my husband picking up overtime affect our marriage? I asked in return that she talk to my father in law about all their options. She agreed and said, let's get through this week and we'll talk about our findings. Stall tactic. My father in law sent a text on Tuesday asking if we could come over that evening to discuss babysitting moving forward. I informed him that my husband was on shift, but we could meet Wednesday or Saturday. He said he would call out of work Wednesday so we could talk. I suggested Saturday again so he wouldn't need to miss work. He insisted it be Wednesday. Cut to Wednesday. We dropped my son off with my sister, and then we went to my in law's house and we sat down. They asked me to recap my reasoning and ask what came from the concerns they had. Number one, you don't owe them reasoning. Yes, they are your in laws, but anytime you quit a job, you don't have to tell them. And I'm sorry, the think about your reasoning and let's talk later, that's some bullshit, but I digress. They asked me to recap my reasoning and ask what came from the concerns they had. I told them about my husband only needing 2 days of overtime, and I had actually found a very affordable company to do counseling through. I did a lot of research in a few days that I was given to find solutions and answers to all of their concerns. You did not owe them any answers to their concerns. When I asked them what solutions they had that didn't involve me, they said that they looked into one option but nothing else, and they were just hoping to compromise. The whole conversation dipped back and forth between being hurtful and being focused. They felt that we were leaving them out to dry. Despite me saying I wasn't leaving right away and I'd stay until they found somebody. Hold on, time out right there. You're leaving them out to dry. Okay. You're married to their son. Nowhere in there did it mean that if they had children, you became the auto nanny. You do not owe them a damn thing. You also already mentioned that their three daughters are all in private school. It's not like they can't afford care. They just prefer to pay you nothing, barely anything. I mean, if two shifts for your husband a month would make more than what you do in a full month for them, and I know how much childcare costs, you were getting screwed from the gate. They were taking advantage of you. I digress. They felt that we were leaving them out to dry, despite me saying I wasn't leaving right away and I'd stay until they found someone. They said that they were really relying on me and I'm disrespecting them by asking to leave. You do not need permission to quit a job. No. They said I was putting their daughter's well being on the back burner and I wasn't thinking about how this choice would affect them. Fuck them. They're the parents. It is up to them to take care of their child. It is not up to you to take care of your 3-year-old sister-in-law because they don't want to manage the child they birthed. That's not on you. You have your own son to handle. You have your own family to handle. What would happen when you got pregnant again? You supposed to be dragging around 2 kids around to babysit their one? They are the parents. They need to start parenting and making those decisions. That's not on you. And you don't need their permission to fucking quit. They're twat waffles. Sorry. They said I was putting their daughter's well-being on the back burner and I wasn't thinking about how this choice would affect them. I had a full panic attack. I was sobbing on their couch telling them I'm so sorry and I really, really thought I could do it, but I just felt like I was burying myself and I felt like I wasn't even a person anymore. I just wanted to be at home with my family. I left feeling defeated and guilty and wondering if I had made a bad choice. I'm sure this will change the dynamics in the house when we come over, but I really felt like this was the best choice for my family. Okay. So, number one, you said that you and your husband had already discussed this and he felt the same way. Okay. So, which I know that there's an edit and an update coming. I am hoping that we hear that he still backed you through all this. Let's see. Edit. A lot of people are asking where my husband was in all of this. I asked him prior to the conversation with father-in-law and mother-in-law to let me do most of the talking as it's my job that we're talking about. You know what? I agree with you on this. Normally when it's a in-law situation, I would say the child of the in-laws are the ones that need to handle this. But seeing as they were your employers, this was not your husband's job to step in. This was completely on you because you were quitting a job. He did shut down hurtful comments, correct incorrect information, and redirect unnecessary conversation. But after a very lengthy conversation, he agreed to let me talk because that would feel the best for me. Thank you to everyone who comments. I appreciate your support and it helps me feel better about my decision. Now for the update. My in-laws found someone to watch my sister-in-law. It took them 3 whole days to find someone, which just makes me a little more frustrated knowing it was so easy for them to find someone and we could have avoided one of the worst conversations I've ever been a part of. But that's that. I'm done babysitting. Thank the Lord. They reminded us on Friday that we have family night on Sunday, tonight, but I politely declined as everything is still pretty fresh and upsetting to me. I'm hoping this won't affect my family's relationship with them too much in the future, but my husband and I have talked about taking a pretty big step back after this whole ordeal. I'm happy to be moving on to the next chapter in my life. Thank you to everyone who commented, gave advice. It really did bring a lot of confidence in my decision. I am so glad to hear that. And that right there just tells you, yeah, it took them 3 days to find somebody else. Why didn't they do that beforehand? Probably because you were much cheaper. They could emotionally blackmail you, and don't think for a moment that you're probably not going to be getting side digs for a while because, oh, you abandoned your sister-in-law. No, you didn't. You know what you did? You put the responsibility of parenting back on the parents so that you could focus on your own family and parenting your own child. So good for you. Good for your husband. I just got to say this because of all the professions, between the father-in-law, mother-in-law, teacher, firefighter, mass respect for the first responders and teachers. Your husband being EMT, I see that first responder love is in the family. Big, big hearts to that. We love first responders. Rogue out.